Have you ever just stopped and wondered how life, works? How you get from something as ridiculously tiny as a single atom all the way up to a forest or an ocean or, well, you? Today, we're climbing that exact ladder of life. We're going to peel back the layers and see how it's all built from the ground up.
So this is the big question, right? This is what's going to guide us through this whole thing. How does non-living stuff, just basic matter, organize itself into a world that is just teeming with life? It sounds impossible, but it turns out there's an incredible, elegant system to it all, a kind of blueprint, and we're about to follow it step by step.
All right, first things first, we're starting small. I mean, impossibly small. We're diving down to a level that's totally invisible, looking at the fundamental building blocks that make everything else possible.
So, you got to start somewhere. And for life, that's chemistry. You've got your basic atoms, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, you know the drill. They link up to form molecules. And some of those molecules are incredibly important, like DNA, which is basically the instruction manual for life. But let's be super clear. At this point, nothing is alive yet. It's just stuff. Really important stuff, but still just chemistry.
Okay, now the magic happens. This is the leap. All those non-living molecules get organized in just the right way to create a cell. And a cell is the smallest thing we can officially call alive. It's that first little spark. Think about just one single muscle cell in your arm. It's like a tiny living engine. It's the true beginning.
But a single cell can't accomplish all that much on its own. So what do? They team up. When you get a whole bunch of similar cells, like millions of those muscle cells, all working together to do the same job, you get a tissue. In this case, you get muscle tissue, which has one main goal in life: contract and create movement.
Okay, so we've got our specialized teams of cells, our tissues. Now we get to the really cool part, assembling all these different teams into larger structures, the kind of things we can actually recognize.
So what happens when you take different kinds of tissues and put them together? You build an organ. Your heart is the perfect example. It's not just muscle tissue. It's also got connective tissues holding it together, nervous tissues telling it when to beat, all these different specialists working together for one big purpose: to pump your blood. It's a beautiful piece of biological engineering.
But even an amazing organ like the heart doesn't work alone. We have to zoom out again. Organs themselves form teams, and we call those organ systems. Take your digestive system. It's not just your stomach. It's your intestines, your liver, your pancreas, all these different organs all working in concert to do a huge job, breaking down your food.
So let's just recap for a second. We started with molecules. They built cells. The cells form tissues. The tissues build organs. And the organs are working together in systems. So what happens when you put all of those systems together in one package?
You get an organism, a single, complete, individual living thing. This is the level we know best. It's a giant sequoia tree. It's the cat sleeping on your couch. And yeah, it's you, a complex, walking, talking collection of all those levels working together in perfect harmony.
But wait, we are not done. The story doesn't just stop with one person or one tree. In fact, you could argue the most mind-blowing part starts now, as we zoom out past the individual and see how all of life fits together on a much, much bigger stage.
Okay, out here we need to get two words straight because they're super important. A population is a group of the same species living in an area. So that herd of zebras, that's a population. But a community, that's every living thing in the area. It's the zebra population, plus the lion population, the birds, the insects, even the grass. It's the whole living neighborhood.
And the key thing to remember here is that a community is only the living parts, what scientists call the biotic factors. It's the whole web of creatures and plants interacting. But look at that picture. Doesn't it feel like there's still something missing from the scene?
I mean, think about it. What else do all these living things absolutely depend on to survive? What non-living parts are essential to make this picture whole?
Exactly. You need the physical world itself, the non-living stuff, or the abiotic factors. We're talking about the sunlight pouring down, the water in the river, the minerals in the soil, the air they breathe, all of it.
And when you finally combine that living community with its non-living environment, that's when you have an ecosystem. This is the complete picture. It's not just the grass and the zebras. It's how the sunlight grows the grass, which feeds the zebras, who drink the water. It's how everything, living and non-living, is connected and interacting.
So what's the very last step? The final zoom out? You take every single ecosystem on Earth, the deserts, the oceans, the rainforests, the cities, and you put them all together. And what you get is the biosphere. It's that thin, precious, living layer that covers our entire planet. And just like that, we've gone from a single atom to the whole living world.
So we've made the climb. It's a pretty neat way to organize everything, right? But this isn't just an academic exercise. Understanding this hierarchy is absolutely critical to, well, understanding and protecting our world.
Let's make this super clear with a real-world example, a coral reef. At the cellular level, you've got tiny algae living right inside the coral cells. Those cells make up the coral polyp, which is an organism. That polyp, along with thousands of fish and other species, forms a community. And when you add in the sunlight and the ocean currents, you have the entire coral reef ecosystem. See how it all just stacks together perfectly?
And this is why it all matters. You can't understand the health of the coral organism without understanding the tiny algae living in its cells. And you can't protect that whole beautiful fish community without protecting the entire ecosystem, the water quality, the temperature, everything. Knowing how these levels are connected is the absolute bedrock of conservation and ecology. It's how we protect the amazing diversity of life on this planet.
So the next time you look at a forest or the ocean, or even just look in the mirror, remember this incredible interconnected ladder you're a part of. From a cell to you to the entire biosphere, it's all one continuous story. So the final question really is for you. Seeing how you're woven into this vast, incredible system, what role do you want to play in it?